river of love that's here. There's a river of grace that's here. You're invited to...
Well, I arrived here on North Connacht Circuit back in July 2004. And soon after I arrived, I was invited to a meeting which Osman Mulligan from the Home Mission Department was talking about a vision that he had to see some new and contemporary work in Carrick-on-Shannon. A number of traditional churches here, but perhaps nothing that would reach out to the unchurched and the new people coming in. And as a minister of 6 churches already, I was less than impressed with his vision. But it gradually began to work on me, and I began to realise that there is just so much opportunity here. And we felt also that, as we reflected on it, that if we could combine a work here in Carrick with extra resources to work around the circuit, then it could perhaps work. And we put these things together and went to the Home Mission Department. We spoke to them about the possibilities, and they put together a financial package which meant that we could actually employ a circuit evangelist. And so when Ken came along, part of his brief was to look into the possibility of establishing a congregation, a church here in Carrick-on-Shannon. Ken put an ad in our circuit news sheet asking for volunteers to come and do some street work with some street work, some street drama, with some busking in the market yard, and we did a kids club up in one of the housing estates. The mission culminated at the end of the summer with a series of healing meetings featuring Jean Neal. And on the first night we had 40, on the second night we had 80, and on the third night we had 120, and the hotel had to move us to a different room. And Ken Baker, having seen the success of those meetings, felt that now was the time to strike, and he immediately announced that he was going to hold some Sunday evening meetings under the heading of the Rivers Meeting. Rivers in the Bible speak about the movement of God's Spirit. Here in Carrick we're sitting on the confluence of 2 great waterways, the Erne from the north and the Shannon from the south. The 2 great Irish traditions of Protestant and Catholic live here side by side. We also have today the huge influx of people from all over the world, the new Irish living alongside the old Irish. And the Rivers Meeting encapsulates something of that, of something which transcends barriers and boundaries and allows people to come together in fellowship and in friendship. And so these meetings began under the catchy title of "What Would Jesus Say to a Bunch of Celebrities?" And he took people like Mother Teresa and Bono and Jose Mourinho, and this gave an opportunity to talk about the claims on the ministry of Jesus in a very low-key and light-hearted manner. And over the coming weeks, this developed then into a core of people who wanted to meet week after week, and it became really the seeds of a new church. And here's to a new beginning. And Ken continued to develop this meeting over the coming months, and he eventually left us to go back to London in August of 2007, at which time we were delighted we were joined then on the circuit by Noel Mills, who had already been working with Ken on this project for the best part of a year or more.
There's a couple more seats in the middle if you want to squeeze in there. Feel that it's just standing room, sorry.
Quite a lot of our outreaches would revolve around music and doing socials. Personally speaking, I think that in pioneering a church or a new work, that relationships are very, very important, and it's very unusual for anybody just to walk off the street into a meeting. I would say the majority of people who are coming along to Rivers, we've had a relationship with them at some stage in the past. I myself be quite involved in music, and particularly Irish music. and quite a few of the people that are coming along to Rivers I've met somewhere along the line.
On the Bantry way to Derry and Galway to Dublin town, and the wheels seem like it's crippled in and a man in the collie down.
And there is a Methodist church in Drumshamble that has a lovely building, but probably there's not a lot of people attending it at the moment. And Rivers not having their own building, we've had a couple of United services with the Drumshamble church, and it has proved to be very, very successful. And even at tonight's event we had people from the Drumshamble church that came along. It's been encouraging to me to see the merging of maybe an older tradition and a more modern tradition, and people accepting each other. And again, it just emphasised what I've believed for years, that probably relationship is the most important thing, and we can overcome doctrines and methodology if people get on well with each other and enjoy each other's company. So that has been very, very encouraging, and we're looking to explore that more and more with a monthly meeting now with the Drumshamble Church.
Well, I just come from a Catholic background, and I've met Noah I think in 1992, 1993. I had cancer when I was 25, and I just wanted to just do something to take this cancer far away. You know, I was really going at it because I had no counselling, I had nobody to help, nobody to talk to. I was very young and I had 2 small children. So I came along to Noel's music classes, very nervous with a small little keyboard under my arm. I think in 1993, 94, I started to open up and started really to get to know Noel. On one of the evenings when I was sharing stuff with him about the hospital, he talked about the power of prayer. Did I ever hear about the power of prayer? And I didn't know anything, you know, at that stage. No, there was no God in my life, there was nothing, you know. He was telling me about this lady in London, her name was Jean Niels, and that they were going to take her over to Sligo, and that she had been cured, you know, God had cured her, took her out of a wheelchair. She had a very bad accident early years ago.
It's not finished with you yet.
But for me, that particular night, it was like something really, really happened inside me, that I was so tied up in knots inside that there was a release and a letting go and an unwinding going on. And I started to go more and more to the churches, the church meetings, the prayer meetings, and I hadn't got a Bible at the time. We used to run a wee charity shop which I got involved in at the time, Revive down in Quay Street, and Noel gave me my first Bible there. I didn't know how to read it, I didn't know what to do with it, and I used to feel a wee bit embarrassed going to prayer meetings because I didn't even know how to use the Bible. And then I got a hunger for God, and the hunger was getting more and more.
Lord, help me today, show me the way, one day at a time.
And when I started to join Rivers with Noel and Steve, it wasn't Steve that I knew at the time, it was Ken really. So it was slow in the beginning, and but what it has developed into is absolutely phenomenal. It has a warmness about it, it has a very, very contemporary atmosphere about it. It has a love that's in there, there's a bond in there with people. And it took time, as Noel spoke earlier on, about, you know, building up relationships. And I built up new friends down here, and I bonded with people here. And I just love coming to Rivers now. You're just comfortable in a family atmosphere, so you are. And it really is good to see Rivers the way it is developing for the people of Carrick-on-Shannon, because there's a hunger here, and I think Rivers has something very, very good to offer, the love of Christ, and you know, just to reach out to people, and it doesn't matter what background you come from, Rivers is there with open hands.